Shackles of Earth in the year 2447. Earth was quiet. There were no cities, no armies, no skies filled with satellites or ships. The planet, once known for noise, fire, and rebellion, now looked peaceful from space. But that peace was a lie. Earth had been enslaved. The Galactic Assembly, a union of alien species, had declared humans too wild, too dangerous, and too violent to remain free. Instead of war, they used control. First came laws, then implants, and then silence. Humanity was chained without a single shot fired. For 200 years. The galaxy believed Earth was broken. But deep under the quiet soil, where no eye could see, something still moved. Far above, an alien historian named Keza arrived in orbit. He was from the Draenari race, peaceful thinkers who studied history but never interfered in war. His mission was to document the fall of Earth for the Galactic Library. This world, Keza whispered, was once feared by empires. Now it sleeps. His ship entered the atmosphere. Thick grey clouds covered the sky. As he flew over the ruins of what was once New York, he saw broken towers, cracked roads, and plants growing through steel. But he saw no people, no lights, no life. This is the cost of control, Kezar noted in his journal. Total silence. His drone scanned the area. Radiation low, oxygen normal. Still, something felt wrong. He landed near an old human monument, the Statue of Unity, built during Earth's final years before surrender. It was cracked in half. Keza walked alone through the dust, recording everything. But then, his scanner beeped. Signal detected. Source, human frequency. What? Keza froze. The signal was not supposed to exist. All human transmissions were blocked by Galactic Order 77. He followed the signal carefully, step by step, across broken stones and metal. The source led him to an old underground chamber hidden beneath a fallen building. He opened the rusted door. It hissed inside. Darkness. The scanner lit up again. Signal strength, 89%. Source active. Kez, or moved slowly. The walls were covered in vines. Dust hung in the air like ghosts. Then he saw it, a terminal glowing weakly with green human text. It was still running after 200 years. He pressed play. A man's voice came through the static. Deep, calm, familiar. This message is for every eye that watched Earth burn and did nothing. You thought we were defeated. You thought we would obey. But you forgot what we are. You forgot that humans do not forget. To the ones who wrote our chains, you should have killed us all. Because we are coming. Then the screen flickered and went dark. Kezar stared, his heart racing. This can't be real, he whispered. Suddenly, his ship's AI spoke through his earpiece. Kezar, movement detected. Moon surface, object powering up. What object? Unknown structure. Deep beneath lunar dust. Coordinates uploading. He ran outside and looked up at the moon. Something was there, a shape, huge and long, began to rise from under the surface. A ship. Dust blew into space. A dark silhouette revealed itself. Sharp angles, ancient human design, but newer than anything the galaxy had seen. Its engines were glowing blue, not cold, not dead. Moon station active, signal spreading, human encryption codes detected. Stepped back. They never died, he whispered. They've been hiding. A new signal flashed across the stars. Not a call for peace. A warning, back in Galactic Central. Thousands of light years away, officials panicked. Earth's systems were supposed to be locked. No power, no ships, no messages. Now all three had returned. In one day, under the crust of Earth, in a silent bunker, Commander Rhea Maddox stood in front of her team. She watched Kez's discovery on a monitor. She smiled. The historian took the bait. She said, "Now let the galaxy listen." Another officer asked, "Should we begin?" Rhea nodded. Project Phoenix begins now. Time to show them Earth was never broken. She looked at the hologram of Earth's prison orbit satellites still circling, watching for human activity. One by one, they began to go dark. Project Phoenix returned to orbit, shaken. The message he discovered. It wasn't just a signal. It was a declaration of war. From a planet that was supposed to be enslaved, broken, silenced. But now, Earth had spoken again, and it did not whisper. Back underground, Commander Rhea Maddox stood inside the Central Command bunker, located deep beneath what was once Mount Rainier. Her eyes scanned dozens of glowing screens. Every system was waking up. Engines hummed, drones activated, satellites fell one by one. "Time?" she asked. 71 hours until full activation, her tech officer replied. "Phoenix is alive." Project Phoenix, a century-old revenge. Plan passed from one hidden generation to the next. Its goal, pretend, defeat, survive in the shadows, and strike only once, hard enough that no one could strike back. For 200 years, humans had lived in secret underground cities, raising children. In silence, training soldiers in hidden domes, building weapons from old blueprints and salvaged alien tech. They hadn't forgotten what was taken from them. Their skies, their voices, their freedom. And now, the silence was ending. Kezar didn't flee. He stayed in orbit, trying to send the message to the Galactic Assembly. But his signal was jammed. Earth's signal-blocking dome had activated. The planet was now fully invisible to outside systems. "No one will believe me," he muttered. "Until it's too late." Suddenly, his ship began to shake. From the dark side of the Earth, 12 massive ships rose from hidden launch bays. They looked ancient in shape, but their cores glowed with advanced energy signatures. No alien species had ever seen. Kezar watched in awe as they turned toward the stars. This is not survival," he whispered. "This is retaliation." Back on Earth, Rhea entered the Hall of Memory, a massive room filled with recorded logs from every era of the occupation. Children were taught to never forget. Soldiers trained beside the stories of their ancestors. A giant screen played scenes from Earth's past. The Galactic Assembly voting unanimously to enslave Earth. The implants forced into civilians. The mining of human bodies for medical tests. The leaders of alien races calling humans primitive and unstable. She looked around the room filled with new recruits, young, determined. "This isn't revenge," she said aloud. "This is justice, and justice takes time." In the outer colonies, old human-built satellites, once thought long dead, came online. They scanned alien systems quietly, military bases, communication hubs, power grids. The Phoenix fleet was now fully awake. Meanwhile, the Galactic Assembly met in panic. A report from the Drainery homeworld was read aloud. "Earth is active. A fleet is moving. The signal from the moon was real. The silence is broken." Some laughed. Some screamed. Some demanded Earth be destroyed completely this time. But others remembered the old wars. "Humans are not like us," one elder said. They don't warn twice. Back in Kez's ship, alarms blared again. 12 more ships exited hyperspace. These weren't from Earth, they were the slavers. Ancient mercenary groups hired by the Assembly to watch Earth's orbit. The slaver commander laughed over the open coms. The humans think they can bark again. Time to remind them who their masters are. His fleet charged Earth. Kezar tried to warn them, but they didn't listen. Inside Earth's orbit, hidden in a field of space junk, a single human stealth satellite powered up. It scanned. It locked targets. And then fired. Lasers sliced through the black. 3 enemy ships exploded before they even reached the upper atmosphere. The rest turned in confusion, only to find missiles had already arrived. The slaver fleet was destroyed. In less than 90 seconds, Kezar watched the pieces fall toward Earth. This was just the beginning. Back underground, Rhea received the alert. Slaver fleet eliminated. She didn't smile. She simply said, they sent the smallest teeth. First, let's see who they send next. The first flame the galaxy trembled. News of the slaver fleet's destruction spread faster than light. 12 warships gone, no survivors, no escape pods. No warning. Earth had attacked, and it had done so without leaving orbit at the Galactic Assembly. Panic erupted. Leaders of over 30 species gathered in the Grand Hall, voices shouting over each other, fear on every face. The oldest among them, the Zindari Prime, stood and slammed his cane. Humans were supposed to be finished. How are they doing this? A younger warlord replied, they were never finished. We just stopped looking. The Assembly quickly made a decision. Earth must be silenced again, this time completely. No chains, total annihilation. But while they argued, Earth moved first. In Earth's command center, Commander Rhea Maddox stood before a glowing star map. Her voice was calm, but final. Target, Volume Moran, capital of the Volcari Empire. First to propose Earth's enslavement. First to vote yes. A quiet murmur passed through the officers. Vol Moran was the most heavily guarded system in the galactic core. No sane fleet would dare attack it. But humans weren't sane anymore. Rhea tapped the console. Operation Flamefall. Launch in 6 minutes. Far across the stars, Kezar had landed on a small station near the edge of assembly space. He begged leaders to listen. Earth is not seeking peace. You enslaved them. Now, they come for judgment. But no one believed him, until it was too late. 6 minutes later, 12 ships jumped out of hyperspace above Volume Moran. They were not large, they were not even beautiful. But they were built for one job. Erasure. The Phoenix fleet had arrived. Defenses reacted instantly. Dozens of cruisers moved to intercept. Defense stations fired missiles. Orbital turrets lit up the sky, but Earth's ships vanished before impact. Stealth, jammers, cloaking fields no alien tech could track. Seconds later, Valkyrie ships began exploding from within. Rhea had released code Ember viruses that had infected Valkyrie tech decades ago when humans were enslaved and assigned to clean systems. No. One noticed those cleaners were planting seeds of war. On the ground, Valkyrie civilians looked up at the sky. It was on fire. The capital was struck by plasma rods from orbit. Weapons that didn't just destroy buildings, but erased matter at the atomic level. Entire blocks vanished. The Assembly's broadcast tried to cut the feed, but Earth's signal replaced it. A simple human voice spoke. This is not war. This is memory. You erased our rights. We erase your empire. Back in the assembly, chaos erupted. One species shouted, "We must unite." Another screamed, "We should have finished them." But the Zindari Prime leaned back and whispered, "They are doing to us what we once did to them." On board the lead human ship, Rhea watched the flames rise from the Valkyrie world. She didn't celebrate. She didn't smile. Instead, she said, "First empire down, 5 more to go." Her crew stood silent. One officer asked, "Should we give them a warning next time?" Rhea shook her head. "They gave us chains. We give them silence." Meanwhile, in deep space, Kezar floated in orbit, watching from a remote viewer. The destruction of volume Moran was complete, not just military, not just government. The planet was now cut off from all galactic systems, its name deleted from the star map. He whispered to himself, "The first flame is not the last." Asterisk the Allies break. The destruction of volume Moran sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The capital of the proud Volcari Empire turned to ash in less than 20 minutes. No survivors, no mercy, no trace of life. Entire cities had vanished. Communications were silent, and the message was clear. Earth does not negotiate. Earth remembers. In the halls of the Galactic Assembly, silence fell for the first time in a century. Gone were the voices shouting about trade and borders. Gone were the debates over policy and power. Now there was only fear. The leaders of the great empires gathered again, their faces pale, their guards doubled. The Zindari, ancient and wise. The Toluan, rich and manipulative. The Kirathai, brutal and proud. The Draenei, silent historians. All had voted for Earth's slavery. All had believed humans would never rise again. Now they argued not about power, but about survival. "We must strike Earth now," the Karathi warlord growled. "Wipe it from the stars before it destroys us one by one." The Toluan diplomat shook his head. "You saw what they did to the Valkyrie. Their tech is beyond us. If we attack and fail, they'll erase us next," the Draenei said quietly. The Zindari Prime leaned forward, his voice cold. "Then, perhaps, one of us should fall. Let Earth believe they've made progress." Everyone looked at him. "You want us to offer a sacrifice?" The Kirathi spat. "No," the Prime said. "I want Earth to look somewhere else, not at us." Unseen by all, the Assembly's chambers were already compromised. Human satellites, disguised as broken alien tech, were listening, recording, learning, and every secret they heard became a weapon. Meanwhile, on Earth, Commander Rhea Maddox stood in a war room glowing with star maps. The Phoenix Fleet's next targets blinked red. 5 more slave-supporting empires, each rich, powerful, and guilty. But Earth was not in a rush. "Let them panic," she said. "Let them turn on each other. Fear is more useful than fire." Her strategy was not just destruction, it was manipulation. In the galactic capital, news broke that the Toluan Empire was building secret defenses around their core planets. The Kirathi accused them of betrayal. Old tensions reignited. 3 small border skirmishes broke out. The Assembly fractured. The alliance that once controlled half the galaxy now split into factions, each blaming the other, each terrified of being Earth's next target. And behind all of it were whispers. Maybe Earth is right. Maybe we were wrong. Maybe they should lead. Across alien worlds, civilians began questioning their leaders. "You told us humans were beasts. You promised they were gone. You lied. Some species even began secretly contacting Earth, offering knowledge, support, or alliance. Not out of loyalty, but out of fear. Humanity accepted none of it. They responded with only one message: you watched us suffer. You don't get to join us, you get to wait. In the shadows of a dying moon, Keza met with other alien historians. They're not just fighting a war, he said. They're teaching a lesson, and we're all in the classroom. One of them asked, "What's the lesson?" Keza replied, "Never break a species that can learn in silence." Back on Earth, Rhea received a new report. Kirathi and Toluan forces clashed on a shared moon. Over 2 million dead. Earth had done nothing, yet they were blamed for everything. "Divide and conquer," Rhea whispered. "Let them finish each other." Her assistant asked, "When do we strike again?" Rhea looked at the blinking star systems on the screen. "Soon, but not yet. Let them bleed first. Let the fear grow roots." Far above, a hidden human satellite captured an assembly message. Humanity must be offered peace. Give them a seat. Give them control if they want. Just stop the war. Rhea watched the playback and smiled coldly. Now they beg. They never begged when we did. The heart of fire, the Galactic Assembly, was dying. Not from weapons, but from fear. Empires had turned on each other. Old allies now fought over blame. Border worlds burned. Trade routes collapsed. Every star system waited in silence for Earth's next move. But Earth said nothing. For 26 days, no attacks. No broadcasts. No threats. Just silence. And in that silence, fear grew like fire. Then, without warning, the silence shattered. A single human ship, sleek black, and unlike anything seen before, exited hyperspace above Tarset's Prime, the capital of the old assembly. TARSIS was not a war world. It had no fleets, no bunkers, only diplomats, records, and the laws that once bound the galaxy together from the surface. Billions looked up and saw one ship hovering alone above them. Some thought it was a mistake. Others knew this was a message in the command center of the Idalen, Earth's diplomatic warship. Commander Rhea Maddox stood surrounded by her most trusted crew. "Begin transmission," she said. A galaxy-wide signal lit up every comm station, every starship. The face of Rhea appeared, calm, scarred, and unafraid. Her voice echoed across thousands of worlds. "This is not a threat. This is not an invasion. This is memory." The feed cut to archival footage from the early days of Earth's enslavement. Children crying as implants were forced into their spines. Human leaders begging for mercy. Alien empires voting yes with cold smiles. The feed ended. Rhea returned to screen. "You called us dangerous. You said we could not be trusted. So you silenced us. You chained our minds. You erased our names from history. You called it peace, but it was fear in disguise." Across the galaxy, no one spoke. Rhea stepped closer to the camera. "Today, Earth speaks again, and we do not speak for revenge. We speak for balance. You thought we would rise with fire. We rose in silence. You thought we were finished. We were only listening." Behind her, the ship opened its lower bay. Slowly, it lowered a large black monument onto the surface of Tarsis, a tall, stone-like spire covered in glowing human script. It read, "Never again, for any species, anywhere." The monument was not a bomb, not a threat, not even a warning. It was a promise. In the capital chambers of Tarsis, the remaining assembly officials watched in silence. The Zindari Prime whispered, "They could have destroyed us, but instead, they teach." A Draenei historian nearby nodded. "They're not just winning the war, they're reshaping the galaxy's memory." On the streets, aliens gathered around the monument. Some wept, some knelt. One child asked, "Who are the humans?" A stranger replied, "They are the ones who remember." Back on the Eidolon, an officer turned to Rhea. "Transmission complete." All systems received it. She nodded. "Good. Orders." Rhea looked down at a star map. "The war ends when they understand. We're not here to rule them. We're here to show them what it looks like when the Forgotten return." That night, across hundreds of alien worlds, graffiti began to appear in many languages. In human script, in whisper and paint. "We remember Earth." But far beyond Tarsis, on the edge of uncharted space, a new signal activated. Deep, cold, forgotten. A voice in the dark. Human vessel detected. Initializing reawakening protocol. Colony status. Unknown. Origin. Earth. Class. Pre-war. Sleeper ship. Codename. Ashes. On Earth, Rhea's console beeped. She frowned. "What is it?" A tech officer replied. "It's not from the assembly. It's not even in the galaxy's network. It's from us." Asterisk the final trial. The message came from deep space. Far. Beyond known territory. Beyond the Galactic Assembly's maps. Beyond even Earth's post-war colonies. The signal was old. Very old and human. On board, the Eidolon commander, Rhea Maddox, stood in silence as the message played. Sleeper ship Ashes reporting. Awakening complete. Systems stable. Colony. Status unknown. The voice was human, but artificial, cold, recorded centuries ago. Requesting orders from Earth Command. Mission, survival. A screen flickered to life. Coordinates appeared far from the core worlds. In a starless void called the Exile Expanse. No one had visited that region in over 300 years. But Earth, remembered Ash, was one of the 12 sleeper ships launched just before Earth's full carrying. Thousands of unchained humans, hidden from the galaxy, sent out in secret to ensure the species could continue. Even if Earth was lost, no one knew any had survived until now. Rhea gave the order. Set course for the Ashes. Her officers hesitated. But Commander, the war. She turned to them. The war is over when we choose what we become next. As the Eidolon jumped to the expanse, whispers spread across the galaxy. Earth is searching for something. Not a weapon, but a memory. The Eidolon exited hyperspace days later, and there it was, a massive sleeper ship, shaped like a spear, coated in ice and time, orbiting a black dwarf star. Its hull was scarred, broken in places, but its lights were on. The crew docked slowly. Rhea entered with a small team. Inside, silence. Frozen stasis pods lined the halls, some cracked, others empty. Human bodies lay in some, still preserved. Others had failed, but in the central chamber, one pod was open. A man stood there, alive, old, unshaven, eyes tired but sharp. He looked at Rhea. He didn't smile. "Took you long enough." His name was Captain Elijah Wren, leader of the sleeper colony. His story stunned them. "We woke up too early," he explained. "Malfunction, we tried to survive. We made a new life. But then they found us. Not aliens, not slavers." He paused. It was another human ship. The room fell silent. Elijah continued. They weren't from Earth. They didn't know Earth even existed. They were born out here, grew out here, built something new. He showed them footage, a thriving world, different symbols, different beliefs. They call themselves the Forgotten Flame, and they're not like you. They believe Earth should never return, that humans were meant to stay hidden forever. Rhea asked, where are they now? Elijah answered, they're watching you. Right now. Suddenly, alarms blared. The Eidolon was under scan. Another ship had appeared behind the moon, sleek, black, human-built, but not Earth's. A message played, we are the flame. We remember the fall. We chose exile, not war. You bring fire again. We bring the last trial. Turn back, or face the end of your own kind. Rhea stood silent. She had destroyed empires. She had burned planets. But this was different. This wasn't about revenge. This was a mirror. We were forged in fire, she said quietly. But maybe we don't need to spread it anymore. She gave the order. Power down weapons. Prepare message. Her officers stared. Commander Rhea replied, we don't win by killing what's left of us. She opened a channel to the ship in the shadows. Her voice was calm. We didn't come to burn. We came to understand. If you are flame, then let's not be ash. Silence. Then the strange ship responded. Begin trial. A bright light flashed, but it wasn't a weapon. It was a bridge. A transport tunnel connecting the two ships. An invitation. Rhea stepped forward. Alone. 3 days later, she returned. Changed, quiet, but smiling. There's hope, she said. Even out here, back on Earth. She shared the message with the world. The galaxy watched as 2 flags were raised, one from Earth and one from the Forgotten Flame, side by side. Humanity had not only survived, it had healed, and for the first time in 200 years, it led not with war, but with wisdom.